The lighting sucks again. Sorry about that, Ryan. Okay, so today I wanted to read you something different, but I couldn't find the book. So instead, I'm going to be reading you out of this book. It's one I got. It's one I got when I was really little. This one's just a 2-page story. A Girl Named Lavender. An eerie ghost story of New York State. Adapted from Dark Trees to the Wind, copyright 1949, by Carl Carmer, and published by William Sloan Associates. Okay, so, only a few miles northwest of New York City lies a hilly wilderness through which flows the Ramapo River. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, because I'm not from New York and they say things really weird up there. A few years ago, the postmaster in a village that lies beside its lonely waters talked often about a slender girl with eyes like hyacinths and wheat yellow hair. The postmaster taught a boys' Sunday school class in a tiny weathered church in the Ramapo Hills. His boys were a shy lot, but wild as woods animals are wild. When that girl was around, she went through the class like a sickness, the postmaster said. A boy would be absent from Sunday school for a month or two, then he would come back, looking sheepish, and one of his schoolmates would be absent for a while. The postmaster would sometimes see him and the girl picking blackberries on a hillside, or, on a Saturday night, walking along the road to a country dance. One Wednesday night, 3 barrels of old clothes from a New York City church were to be given out after prayer meeting. The girl came just as the preacher beat in the head of the first barrel. She was barefoot and wore a patched calico dress, which was much too small for her. She sat in the back pew and paid no attention as the usual shabby garments contained in such barrels were shown. There was a gasp when the preacher pulled from the second barrel a lavender evening dress covered with sequins that glinted like amethysts. No one spoke up for it, but without saying a word the girl dashed forward. She grabbed the dress and raced out of the church. From that time on, no one saw the girl in any other costume. Rain or shine, day or night, she was a brushstroke of lavender against the green hill slopes and the khaki-colored shirts of whatever boys strode beside her. Mid-December brought a cold snap. It was 18 degrees below zero one morning, and that is really, really cold, Brian, let me tell you. When the postmaster opened his window for business, the people who came in that day were more eager to give him the news than to get their mail. The body of the girl in the lavender dress had been found frozen stiff a few miles up the road. The beautiful dress had proved too flimsy for such weather. The postmaster said that after this tragedy all the boys in his class came regularly to Sunday school, and that seemed to be the end of the story of the girl. The girl died in about 1939. Many witnesses have testified to this fact, and for 10 years nothing more was heard about her. Then a strange story began to go the rounds of upstate towns. As I heard it one Saturday evening, 2 boys were driving to a dance at Tuxedo Park in the Ramapo Hills. On the road that runs through the river valley, they saw a girl waiting. She was wearing a party dress, the color of the mist rising above the dark stream. Her hair was the color of ripe wheat. The boys stopped and asked if they could give her a lift. She eagerly seated herself between them and asked if they were going to the square dance at Sterling Furnace. Her thin, tanned face, her yellow hair and flashing smile, her quicksilver gestures enchanted the boys, and they persuaded her to go with them to the dance at Tuxedo Park. When they presented their new friend to their hosts, she said, "Call me Lavender. It's my nickname because I always wear that color." When they started home after the dance, the girl was cold, so one of the boys helped her into his tweed topcoat. She directed the driver through dusty woodland roads. Finally, she bade him stop before a shack that would have seemed deserted but for a ragged lace curtain over the small window in the door. Promising to see the boys soon, she stood beside the road waving until they had rolled away. The boys had gone some distance before one of them realized he had forgotten his coat. They decided to return for it in the morning. Next day, when the boys knocked on the door of the shack, a scrawny, white-haired woman peered at them out of piercing blue eyes. They asked for Lavender. "Old friends of hers?" she asked. The boys, fearing to get the girl into trouble by telling the truth, said yes. "Then you couldn't have heard she's dead," said the woman. "Been in the graveyard down the road for near 10 years. The boys protested that this was not the girl they meant. They were trying to find someone they had seen the evening before. "Nobody else of that name ever lived round here," said the woman. "'Twa'n't her real name anyway. Her pa named her Lily when she was born. Some folks used to call her Lavender on account of the pretty dress she wore all the time. She was buried in it." The boys started for the highway. 100 yards down the road, the driver jammed on the brakes. "There's the graveyard," he said, pointing to a few weathered stones in an open field overgrown with weeds. "I'm going over there." They found the stone, a little one marked Lily, and on the curving mound in front of it, neatly folded, was the tweed topcoat. Even ghosts have to return things to when they borrow them, right? Okay, it's Saturday evening, and actually it's 2020. Woohoo! And I'm really kind of tired. I've had a very long week, very long 2 weeks. So I'm gonna go to bed and read for a while, and I hope you enjoyed the story, and I'll try to find the one that I was looking for in the next couple of days, but maybe I'll read you some more out of the Greek mythology, or some more out of Malmair's poetry. We'll see. Love you, bye.